Moving on to round 17. So I have slip stitched into the first single crochet of my previous round. I'm going to chain 1 with both my tail and my new yarn. And I'm going to drop the tail, and I'm going to be putting a single crochet into that same space. Okay, hold nice and tight. Let's go ahead and do 2 more single crochets. 1 and 2. And that is going to take us to this single crochet that's in the chain space. I'm going to alter this just a touch. This pattern is very difficult for this round. What it wants you to typically do, if you're following the pattern as well as the video, is put a long double crochet into this space, as well as 8 single crochets up to the next chain space where we're going to drop a long double or a long single crochet. It's very, very tight to pop a long single crochet into this space, plus put the single crochet in the top of that stitch. So what I'm going to do is actually put 2 long single crochets, so 1 and 2, over top of that single crochet from the previous round. And now I'm going to do 7 single crochets to my next chain space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's going to complete our repeat. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing. You are more than welcome to put 1 long single crochet into the chain space and put that single crochet in top of the single crochet in the chain space from the previous row. It's very, very tight to do that. I've made this pattern a few times and I don't like doing it like that. And just to alter the pattern so that it's a lot easier on my carpal tunnel, I dropped 2 long single crochets to get started on my repeat. So let's do that together. So 1 into that chain space and 2. Okay. And now I'm going to put 7 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to make a note that I'm going to stop telling you at the end of every round on the video how many stitches you have, and I'm just going to keep dropping them down in the comments for you. So follow along with the stitch count down there and go double check your work. But you should have 2 long single crochets into each chain space, and in between those long single crochets is going to be 7 single crochets all together. You should have at the end of this though 180 stitches total. Moving on to round 18. This is going to be a pretty simple round. You're going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet, same color. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to put a double crochet into that same stitch. Okay. Now this round you're going to do a double crochet into both loops all the way around, and you'll have 180 double crochets at the end of this round. Now with this round, you can either fasten off or stay with the same color yarn. I'm going to stay with the same color yarn for not only row 19, but also row 20. And then we will switch to blue for row 21. Moving into round 19, this round is going to be cross double crochets. We're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet of our previous round. We're going to chain 1. Go ahead and do a double crochet into that same space. Okay. Now, you're going to be putting your next double crochet in the stitch before it, which is the last double crochet of our previous round. So yarn over and go backwards into both loops. You're going to pull up your loop and make it kind of tall. Now yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay. You're going to yarn over, skip a stitch, and you're going to go into the second one, complete a double crochet. Yarn over, and you're going to put a double crochet into the stitch before it. Okay, pull up your loop, make it tall, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do that one more time together. Skip a stitch, go into the second one and complete a double crochet. Yarn over, go into the stitch that you skipped, pull up your loop, kind of tall, pull through 2, pull through 2. You're going to repeat that all the way around, and you'll have 90 of these at the end of this round, and I am going to fasten off and switch over to blue. All right, I have come to the end and I have 3 stitches left. I'm going to go ahead and skip 2 of those and put my last double crochet, and then I'm going to go backwards 1 stitch and do a double crochet. And then we are going to be slip stitching into the top of the first double crochet that we did, which is behind this one here that's over top of it. I'm going to fasten off for this round, and we are going to be changing colors. Moving into round 20. So I'm going to slip stitch with my blue as I fasten off my green into the first double crochet that we did, which is the one behind the second one, because we did those crosses. So I am going to be slip stitching into the space between these 2 sets of cross double crochets, okay? And chain 1, and you're going to put 2 double crochets in this space. So 1 and 2. Now, you're going to be jumping over this entire cross double crochet, and you're going to put 2 double crochets in the space after it. So 1 and 2. And that's how this whole round is going to go, where you put 2 double crochets in between your double crochet crossed clusters. 1 and 2. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. And you're going to do that all the way around. So at the end of this, you're going to have 180 double crochets. Okay. Moving on to round 21. I have fastened off my blue, and I'm going to be attaching pink here. For the next 2 rounds, we're going to be working with this pink. Pull your blue tail pretty tight, and I'm going to chain 1 with both my tail as well as my new strand of yarn. Okay. Give me a second to get my tail. All right. I'm gonna pull that tail pretty tight as always. And now I'm gonna pick up my yarn. Now, from here, you're going to be doing a single crochet between each of your double crochets. So go back into the space previously. You're going to pull up your loop and do a single crochet, okay? And that's going to go between these 2 sets of 2 double crochet clusters. Then we're going to go in between the next 2 double crochets in that 2 double crochet cluster. We're going to go here in the space between the clusters, and then again between the actual 2 double crochets that make up the cluster. And you're going to repeat that all the way around. You have a little bit of pop of color separating your double crochets, okay? At the end of this round, you should have 180 single crochets. Moving into round 22. So we are going to be staying with this pink, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of our very first single crochet. All right, I am going to slip stitch into the next one just because. And I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to put a single crochet back into that same space. Go ahead and skip 2 stitches, and you're going to put 5 double crochets into that 3rd stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let's go ahead and do that together again. We're going to skip 2 stitches, put a single crochet in the 3rd stitch, and we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and into the 3rd stitch we're going to put 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you're going to repeat that around. Where you skip 2 stitches, you put a single crochet into the 3rd, skip 2 stitches, and put 5 double crochets into the 3rd. And repeat that all the way around. You're going to have 30 single crochets and 30 double crochet clusters. Moving into round 23, I have fastened off my pink, and I'm going to be switching over to the green. And I have flipped over to my wrong side. We're doing a bunch of back post double crochets, so I've put it on the wrong side of this. You don't have to flip it over to the wrong side. Just know that this entire round is going to be back post double crochets from the right side and puff stitches into the single crochets. But again, I'm going to do front post double crochets from the wrong side to make it easier on my wrist. So go ahead and slip stitch from behind into the first, or from the first single crochet, and we're going to pull that new color through the loop as well as through that first single crochet. Okay, and I'm going to pull my tail forward, and I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to pull this pink tail pretty tight too. And now what you're going to be doing is 5 front post double crochets around all 5 of these double crochets. So yarn over and do your front post. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to do that 5th one around that last double crochet. And now I'll help you do puff stitches again. So into this single crochet, you're going to yarn over and you're going to go into the stitch. Pull up your loop kind of tall, yarn over, go back into the same single crochet, pull up your loop kind of tall. Yarn over, go back into that single crochet and pull up your loop a last time. You're going to have 7 loops on your hook and you're going to pull through all of those. If you're using an organic cotton or an organic fiber, it might be a little tight. Go ahead and chain 1 to close that puff stitch, and then you're going to yarn over and we're going to start our repeat again where we do 5 front post double crochets around the 5 double crochets from the previous round. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to do a puff stitch into that single crochet. So yarn over, go into that single crochet, pull up your loop kind of tall, yarn over, go back into the single crochet, pull up your loop tall, yarn over, go in a 3rd time and pull up that loop tall, and then you're going to pull through all 7 loops and chain 1. So repeat that all the way around. You're going to have 30 puff stitches and 150 back post double crochets at the end of this round. Moving into round 24. So I am back on the right side of this project and I'm going to be slip stitching with my new color I fastened off, and I'm going to be picking up pink. So we are going to be slip stitching as always through that old loop as well as the very first stitch from the previous round. Okay, I'm going to be pulling my green tail so it's pretty tight. Okay, and I'm going to chain 1 as soon as I can get my yarn with both the tail and the new yarn. Okay, go ahead and drop that tail. Now to get our repeat started, you're going to be doing a front post half double crochet, chain 1, and a front post half double crochet around this puff stitch. So go ahead and yarn over and go behind it, pull up your loop and go ahead and complete that half double crochet through all your loops. Chain 1 and do another front post half double crochet around that puff stitch. Now into these next 5 stitches you're going to be doing half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's do that one more time together. You're going to do a front post half double crochet around the puff stitch, chain 1, and another front post half double crochet around the puff stitch. Okay, and into the next 5 stitches we're doing half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And go ahead and repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. Your last stitch is going to be a half double crochet in that back post double crochet that we slip stitched into. And you will have at the end of this round 30 chain spaces, 150 half double crochets, and 60 front post half double crochets.